Welcome to the latest edition of Talon Talk. Today's episode focuses on our Faulkner University volleyball program. We will catch up on everything that's been going on with them since everything shut down in March. We'll talk about a recruiting class that has come together despite not really ever being able to see Coach Bartels in person, the schedule that is and that we hope will be moving forward, and we'll bring you Courtney Barnes, a lone senior on the team. She'll fill us in on her experiences here at Faulkner and everything that she has had going this summer. This is Talent Talk. We're back on the other side.
Coming to Montgomery, October 1st for one night only.
Spying on any American is a big deal. I can't think of a worse way to investigate something than to have Congress do it.
Faulkner University presents Representative Trey Gowdy at its annual benefit dinner.
In politics, it's just about winning. And I mean, the Constitution gives the House no role in deciding how this trial takes place.
Order your tickets today at faulkner.edu or by calling 386-7257.
Welcome back to Talon Talk, now joined by Tori Bartels, the head coach. I mean, who are we kidding? The only coach of our Faulkner University volleyball program. Tori, it has been an exciting time. For most of us, we go into lockdown, and that means that we are confined to our spaces. You have been confined to the wide open spaces for a lot of the time. So before we even get into the program, like, you've been to mountains, you've been to beaches, coming back to school's got to be kind of boring for you.
Yeah, it sets a routine, and I've just kind of been a free spirit for the last few months. So it's been great. So load the camper up and go.
There you go. Listen, one of the things, and we'll start right there, the coronavirus challenges are unique. They are things that land with every sport a little differently. For your sport being a fall sport, it really hits you, I guess, probably more than anything in recruiting. Yes. Because you don't have games going on, especially with your sport being a year-round sport. That's your evaluation period. So how hard was this to put together a recruiting class almost blindly?
I had at the time of the shutdown, I had only had 2 full commitments, and I still needed 4 more players. And at that point, I was communicating with some players, but we had nothing concrete. We had dates set in the future for visits, but obviously those couldn't happen. So what we did was we did a lot of things, virtual tours. We went FaceTime. I brought in players that were local, and we talked one-on-one to each other and did those types of things. And it was a great opportunity for me to get just one-on-one time with the recruits, but also with another returning player. So we did a lot of stuff that way, and we signed 4 girls that have never been on campus.
Wow. So we'll start with that recruiting class before we get into your returners here. Pretty solid class on paper, and your JUCO transfer in Katie Jordan may be one of the big highlights of it. Tell us a little bit about Katie, what you like about her.
Katie is athleticism and leadership and maturity. She is an older player, but she will only have played 1 year, but she has the experience of coming in with like a junior and senior knowledge. She has the ability to be adaptable for both pins, but creates power and strength on both of those, and could see some back row time as well. So she is just a solid all-around player, and I'm looking forward to her. With only having 1 season, a senior, Katie will help kind of fill that gap between my babies and my upperclassmen.
And, you talk about what you call your babies here. You've got 5 freshmen coming in this class. We'll work down the list alphabetically here. Hannah Bryan out of Wakulla High School. What about Hannah?
Hannah is power. Hannah is just straight power. She is also a weightlifting champion. So wow. Not only does she have the strength on the court, she's just got that muscle mass to back that power up. And she is just a beast off the court in the weight room as well. But Hannah is the type of player, so do you need me to play outside? I'll play outside. Do you need me to set? I'll set. If you need me to play back row, I'll play back row. Whatever you need, I will do. And it's that type of mentality that makes her so valuable on a team.
Brianna Dukes out of Picayune, Mississippi.
Brianna is a long, lengthy arm. She is just going to be able to reach balls that, if you notice, our height is going to grow a little bit. We may not be all 6 feet, but we've got a lot of 5'10", 5'11" girls coming in, and they bring that length. And Brianna does that. Bree will bring in some strong, long whip of an arm. She will probably see time on the pins. She can play a little bit middle, but I think at this level, she's going to be more on a pin player for us.
One of the players that you've been highest on coming in, Macy Kemper out of Lexington, Kentucky.
Really excited about Macy. Macy is from a small area, but has great solid hands. And Alyssa Stagner, our returning setter, is excited to have another strong setter side by side to help share the reps, to help grow. And Macy is strong defensively as well as setting the ball. So I think she's going to be a really good asset. We want to run a 6-2 in our program, really showcase both the setters that we have. And Macy's just going to deliver the ball really well. She's spunky. She's got a lot of energy, and she's going to do a great job for us.
Mackenzie Luttrell out of Grant, Alabama.
Mackenzie comes from Julia Rice's high school. They are probably best friends, I would say. They have grown up together. They're really excited. And Mackenzie is going to be on the frame of like Hannah. She's very strong, extremely athletic, and is going to grow once she's immersed and not a multi-sport athlete. Once she can focus in a little bit more, she is really going to, she's nowhere near her ceiling. And I'm looking forward to getting to work with her one-on-one and really grow. She could hit anywhere in the front row. Technique-wise, I'll probably use her on a pin as well, but we may work her in the middle some too.
Last one for you, Sarah Sharp from right here in Montgomery.
Yep, Sarah is, one of those players that I've known for years and years and years. In fact, I remember when Sarah first started playing volleyball, she has come through camps of mine and went through the club program that I run as well, Capital City Juniors, and she has just grown with the sport. This year at Capital City, we did not have an 18s team, so she was kind of missed. We just didn't have enough players come out for the 18s level. And so we kept in touch with Sarah, and she really wanted to play at the next level, and she fits what we need in our program. Being a utility player, she could see back row, she could see front row, and she's just so excited about just growing and becoming a better athlete.
So before we get into your returners here, I'm going to go back to this senior class. Accomplished a lot in their time. Madison Sides, Deja Washington, Ashley Ingerson, Julianne Wilkes. What did that group mean to your program? How much are you going to miss them?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to replace those shoes. Those girls were just a foundation and just bought into a lot of things. The program changing into such a dominant force in the conference, and they were the foundation for that. We've got Deja, who has just gone through so many things personally and just became such a iconic person of strength, on our team. And then Madison Sides, who went from I'm a sideline player to now I'm a starter and I am, competing for conference, recognition, and just the transformation she made over her 4 years, has been outstanding. And you've got people like Ashley Ingerson, who has just been under the radar on everything, but just came in and pushed everybody to be the best that you were. And then how do you replace Julianne Wilkes? I mean, everybody in the conference doesn't want to play against her. She is a libero that not only could read anybody on the conference, but she could turn around and set a ball just as good as a setter. So, that class, it will be severely missed, and did some great things. And in their junior year, they went to the nationals, and that's something they'll never forget.
Absolutely. Now we talk about this returning group, and there's a lot of talent there. Several of these sophomores in particular started to make moves later in the season to really show you some upside in what they had. So when you look at this returning group, what are you most excited about?
We had such an athletic group come in as a freshman class last year, and now as they transition, I hated we lost some of our spring season to growth there, but they started making those strides in those corners that I think they will be new. There'll be a new team core there because of their athleticism and just what they're going to bring. Julia Rice has a 6'3" wingspan, and putting her on the right side, moving her more from the middle to the right side, she has created such a huge block there. And it's hard to, once she jumps, but her arms just keep going. So it gives you a wall there. Alexis McElroy, you know, she just came into her own very quickly at the end of the season. You know, transitioning from high school volleyball to college volleyball is such a big jump. The game is faster. The players are bigger. You're hitting against the best players. You're not just playing, you know, high school games. And I've had to find some niches for these girls. Alexis was really a middle. We thought she was going to be a strong middle for her. We found out she's so fast that we can run a zero tempo offense with her on the right-hand side and it'd be very successful. So she's kind of finding her home on both pins and really developing on that right side as well. And she touches close to 9.5, 9.6 when she's jumping, you know, and so she's a threat, and she gets up so quickly. We can just give her the ball and go. The other thing she's been really focused on is playing all the way around. So she's really harnessed in on her back row her back row play. And her back row attack. You know, another Haven Owens is another local kid from the area, and she is just really coming into her own. She has so much power. It was a matter of getting the consistency in that approach and arm swing. And now that I think fall gets here, and, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing her put some balls really strongly away. So, and then we have Courtney Reeves. She is our little DS returning, and, you know, Courtney's really going to be pushing for, looking at that time, we have a libero position wide open, and I have so many returning players in the defensive realm that they're really fighting for it. They're trying to figure out who's going to step in there. And Courtney's got a good shot.
Really good returning group, as we talked about here. The league's going to look different, and not just because of the coronavirus stuff that we'll get into in a moment, but you lose Bethel and Martin Methodist, two very quality programs that leave the conference. And it was always going to be a competitive league, and it still will be, but it has to feel like this thing is anybody's game going into it. How do you feel like the complexion of the league changes going into this year?
You know, I think it's wide open. With Bethel and Martin exiting and going to a different direction, we have the opportunity that it opens up the conference again. We have been at the top of the conference, top 3 to 3, I would say, for several years now. Mm-hmm. And I think what we have returning and the new blood that we are bringing in, I think we have a really good shot of competing for that title again this year. And it's going to just come down to discipline and the little things. It's not going to be, you know, one hitter. It's got to take the entire team pulling the weight. That was one of the things we figured out last year, is we couldn't rely on one hitter to do the job for us. I need 4 hitters that put numbers up. I need 3 DSs that are digging the ball. I need setters that are delivering. So we really wanted to focus in on being more balanced this upcoming fall. That was my main focus, is making sure that I had options. And if anybody knows me, I think outside the box. So you may be recruited as a middle and end up setting for me. It just depends on what our team's strength is and need. So I'm just a little bit different, a little unconventional. I was going to talk about my juniors. They are one of those unique classes that their freshman year they got to go to nationals. So they have the taste, and they are hungry to go back. And that core group is still the same core group. So we have Alyssa Vinson, who is a 6 rotation player for us that is just all over the place. She does play middle for us. Yes, she may only be 5'6", but she does play middle for us. She's so fast. You've got Mallory Black, who has just really grown in her confidence from pin-to-pin blocking, and she's coming in her own on the strength. And then you've got Alyssa Stagner, which I mentioned earlier, is our returning setter, who is the most competitive, driven person I've ever met. And you have Sarah Grayson Watts, who has come leaps and bounds and is just going after the libero position. I mean, I kid you not, I hear all kinds of things. Coach, have you seen her play recently? She touched the ball this weekend, and oh my gosh, she's amazing. So I can't wait to see her on the floor again. And then we have a transfer in for us last year, which was Jordan Stewart, and she has just been such a utility player and just such a strong, silent leader on the floor. It's been great to see that group just really grow together.
Fantastic. So we've got a really good core. We've got a lot of hope, a lot of expectation going into the year. Now we don't know when we're going to play, and that's the part that we got into. So you had this really nice, big, beautiful volleyball schedule built. It was pristine and luscious, full of August games. And then, look, I mean, we're in the ongoing global situation, if you will, and we lost everything in August. And as of right now, we hope to begin play September the 5th. But we're also watching the plates kind of shifting. So assuming that we stay on this category and we play in the fall as we hope, there's that challenge of who do you play? And as you see right now in front of us, there's not a lot of non-conference on this schedule at the moment because everybody's sort of holding their cards and figuring out what it's going to look like. What's the challenge as a coach to build a schedule when nobody knows what's going on?
You get a lot of non-returned emails, or I'll get back to you, or I don't know at this time. The only thing I can see right now on our schedule, and I think I talked to Carter about this the other day, is we are planning on going to Fried Hardeman for a 1 day on September 5th. So it looks like we will actually open on September 5th, which I hope will still stand, but we don't know. And, you know, we've got an opportunity to play a little bit of some D3. You know, we've reached out, AUM and I, we've talked about playing. It's just, we're all just in this holding pattern because we can make all the plans we want, but we really don't know what the future holds.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've talked about it internally. We're very much living in the multiverse right now. We're going down one timeline, and we may be zapped into an alternate universe where we're looking at January volleyball, and that could be possible as well. So for you as a coach, knowing that we're planning for this, you're bringing your players in mid-August, and you're planning for this. How do you keep them focused in such uncertain times?
You know, one of the things we've been doing as a team this whole, I guess, since March is about every other week we try and have a Zoom call with the whole team. And on that meeting, we discuss, you know, things that's going on for them personally, but then we talk about something for the team, something about whether it may be, you know, hey, we're looking at gear for this, or what do you think who our biggest opponent is? In our last call, you know, we brought some of the newbies up to talked about our conference teams. Who do we have to, you know, make sure we step up and play against, and who can we not take for granted because they're growing as a program? You know, we talked about those things. And so we're trying to just get their mindset in the right place. The other thing we talked about is, are you doing your part of coming in fit? Are you going to be ready August 11th to start on the court and start running? Or are we going to have to spend 5 days, 2 weeks, you know, getting you in shape? Are you, you know, doing your part? So those have been our conversations. And the biggest thing I've been trying to instill in them is, you know what, guys, we're still planning to have a season. We still are right now. That's our plan. And until we're told otherwise, we're going to have a season. We're not in a situation where our season has been taken away from us. And even if they choose to move the season, they're still planning to have the season. So, you know, we're not in the basketball and baseball and softball realms where we had to totally lose our season, you know. And so let's talk about the blessings that we have and how that can be turned positive. And that, yes, it'll be a new normal in the fact that we have to wear gaiters on the sidelines. But you know what? We're having a sideline we have to wear that too. And there are going to be some adjustments, but how we depict and what our personal thoughts on them doesn't matter, but we get to do it. And so if we can stay positive and I can stay positive, you know, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things, you know, right now, as we said, we hope that we're going to proceed in the fall as planned. If things do get moved into the spring, how important do things like inter squads become for you guys to stay in shape and to stay game ready?
You know, if we do move into spring, I think you see teams on a totally different platform. What we see in fall is usually your returners are the ones that are leading your programs, and 1 or 2 freshmen are stepping in. You could see those roles change if you have a season that's in the spring, because now I've had all fall. If you know, on ground campus classes, we still get to have practices at some point. and so now I get to work one-on-one, and being a spring sport, you get to develop those freshmen a little bit more. So now they're ready to step on the floor come January versus step on the floor come August. I think it's unique in that aspect, and that's one of the positives I'm trying to focus on as a coach, is that I really get to develop my incoming kids a lot more and have them ready to step on the floor and compete versus not. And I think that comes across the board, that all of our teams in the conference will have that luxury. And so it will become very dynamic, because you start seeing some of those freshmen step up towards the end of the year, especially those raw athleticism freshmen, no matter what the team is. It's been fun to watch. I mean, Loyola was one of those teams that came out of the woodwork, at conference tournament and just was amazing, and then so it's just, those things happen.
Absolutely. And, you talk about it. We lose two of the top teams in our league, but then you've still got the William Careys and the Mobiles of the world. But you saw real emergence last year out of programs like Loyola and Florida College. And Blue Mountain had games. So, yeah.
Blue Mountain was a first-year program last year, and he had talent. Reed had a lot of people on his team, and he's doing a great job. He is going to be a force to compete with as long as he continues, to be able to develop his kids. And so, and they competed, but it came late in the year.
For sure. And so that's the thing. We're always in between right now as we wait on what this looks like. And what's so funny is the conference makeup may look entirely different a year from now, as we have a great commissioner, Mike Hall and Matt Hicks, who are constantly our assistant commissioner and Matt Hicks. They're constantly looking at ways to improve and add to the league. And so we know that good volleyball is going to be played down here in the SSAC. So that's a challenge, and that's going to be a lot of fun to follow for the next year or so. So listen, we appreciate you so much taking the time to join us and talk to us about the upcoming season, whenever that may be. And again, we're hopeful that we're going to get rolling here in September. As the plan as of today is that we will move forward in September. And as we draw closer to that date, we're going to have you on again as you get to see some of these players in person for the first time and get to evaluate them a little bit more.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do. It's exciting to see what we go forward.
Awesome. I appreciate you. Hey, we're back on the other side on this edition of Talon Talk.
Bless the corners of this house and be the lintel blessed. Bless the hearth and every board and each place of rest, and every door that opens wide to stranger as to kin, and every crystal window pane that lets the starlight in. At home, I'm going home for solace and safety, home where the world will not break me home. Never forsake me, take me home.
Welcome back to Talon Talk, joined now by the lone senior on the Faulkner Volleyball team, Courtney Barnes. Hey, you're now the old girl on the team, right? So you've been here forever. What's that like? What's the burden of leadership like?
It's weird feeling for sure, because my time has gone so quickly. But it's really not a burden at all. I have a ton of great juniors who are there right with me, leading with me. So it's really not a burden, and our team's awesome. So not a burden at all, I would say. So
That idea of leadership, it means something different to everybody who takes on it. I think Julianne Wilkes was probably more of a verbal leader, just judging by what we saw on the floor. So what's your style? Like and what have you taken away from the seniors who came before you?
Definitely. Well, I feel like I'm also a verbal leader, but just from watching older girls who have made the biggest impact on me, leading by example is the best way that you can lead. Not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, like doing what you say and following the advice you give too. So.
Yeah, and you've lost Deja Washington and Ashley Ingerson, and I mean a really good group of seniors. But yet, there's a lot of expectations still about this team that you have to feel good about what's coming back. What do you think? And I know that you haven't seen the new girls yet. You've got 6 new ones. But what do you think this team can do this year?
Oh, I think it's going to be awesome. Our freshman, or I guess sophomore class now, I think they're looking really solid, especially through spring. Everybody was making huge improvements, not only in the weight room, but also on the court. Like you said, strong junior class. They really had to step up this year as sophomores and didn't get that freshman title, so we didn't give them any freshman mistakes, I guess. And they really had to step up. Had some new starters this year, and they all did phenomenal. Had a very different year this past year. But I'm really looking forward to moving forward with this new freshman class. And like you said, I haven't seen them, but I've heard good things about them. And I'm really looking forward to what all of our returners are going to bring to the table this year.
Now, for you, it's really interesting as you get ready to play this last season. You had some opportunities at multiple places, but this place is kind of in your blood. And as your older brother, of course, I actually went to school with your older brother, played basketball here, and we have to appropriately say his name every time we say it. It's Justin Barnes. Because that is the way that he became known among the student section. But for you, was there ever a doubt that this is where you were going to end up?
I tried to kind of rebel against my blood for a little bit there, tried to explore my options. It's kind of hard, having an older brother who's so well known and so well liked, living in his shadow a little bit. So I think I kind of tried to rebel against that for maybe my junior year of high school, but senior year it was pretty clear. Like you said, I had some other options, but my heart was at Faulkner, and that's where I ended up. So
sends that across. Washington, Stagner, Barnes with the tip.
And now heading into that last year, how would you evaluate the time? Like, how are you different than when you first got here?
Well, you come in, you think you know everything whenever you're a freshman. So, you think you've got it figured out, and that I had nothing figured out, I've learned so much. It's important to let the sport keep you humble, let other players keep you humble. Like, don't underestimate people younger than you. Always have them hold you accountable, have them challenge you. Don't ever let it threaten you. Just let them challenge you, Healthy competition is super good. So I also think I've learned just to become a student of the game. Like I said, I don't know everything. I know very little, honestly. I'm still learning every day. So just to let the game humble you. It's really what I've learned mostly.
Run and get them something going right here. Corbin with the serve. Vincent, Stadner, Courtney Barnes right there. That brought some heat on that one, but Corbin was able to keep that one alive. Julianne Wilkes, Stagner, Courtney Barnes right there with the heat, and there you go, Courtney
As you
Barnes.
kind of evaluate yourself as a player, and your improvements have been dramatic each year that you've continued up that climb, what do you look at yourself now and say, this is still the area, or these are the areas where I still really want to get better on the floor?
I always want to get good on defense. You know, I've always been looked at as the big girl on the court, so why put her in the back row, you know? So I've always tried to work on that and work on my serve receive, especially now that coach has given me the opportunity to serve. I love being back there. You know, it's different, change of pace, so it's super fun. Always looking to improve in blocking. I had a really strong start my freshman year in blocking. Luckily, I think I've rounded myself out better. I've improved in other areas, but now I want to get back on that blocking game. Make those vast improvements this senior year and go out with a bang.
All right, listen, we've been shut down since March. We all went into lockdown and the world kind of screeched to a halt. So we've talked to different athletes each week about how they've spent their time. So what were you doing during lockdown?
I was doing a whole lot of schoolwork.
Okay.
Yes, and
the GPA shows it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yes, I was doing a whole lot of schoolwork, and I honestly, that was the most I've ever looked forward to getting outside and conditioning, was taking a break from schoolwork to get outside and just run and get all that anger out that I've built up from school, you know, to work out. And it was so hard for, I know, the volleyball team especially, because our weight trainer Alex had been working so well with all of us, and we had been making such dramatic strides in the weight room, for that to all, you know, kind of be shut down. So that was difficult to go from, like, you know, pounding the heavy weights to just body weight stuff or whatever you had at home. So I really tried to keep up, maintain what I could. But I don't know if you know, now I'm a whitewater rafting guide.
I know. So how did this come about?
Okay, so it's a funny story. So I was supposed to be doing an accounting internship this summer. So
that's not what you're doing. Not at all.
No. So it got canceled due to COVID. And going into my senior year, it's my last summer of college, so I wanted to do something fun. And I've always loved whitewater rafting, so I just decided to give it a try. I didn't know anything about it or anyone when I got here, but it has been the most fun opportunity, and it's been awesome.
All right, so where is this at? Where are you doing it at?
I'm in Copper Hill, Tennessee, on the Ocoee.
Okay, on the Ocoee in Copper Hill, Tennessee.
Yep.
Now, you've always loved whitewater rafting. Where did that start? Like, did you do this as a kid? What happened?
Yeah, so my family used to go every single year. You have to be 12 to go.
Okay.
They went every year before I turned 12. Then they stopped going when I turned 12. So they
when it was your turn, it had to stop.
Yeah, of course. And so I went with my church group when I was like 15 or 16, and I was terrified. But when I went down the river, it was just so much fun. I always loved being on the water. I loved being at the beach, at the river, whatever. And so the second time I went, I had so much fun. And so, I just decided to come up here and try it out.
Like, for a lot of us, we've been at home and it's been a lot of Netflix and that kind of thing. But you're outdoors. So
yes.
Is it gonna be too boring to come back to school for you? Like,
no, I miss volleyball so much. I'm trying not to wish away my summer because I'm having a blast out here. But I just miss being in the gym and being with my teammates. So, no, volleyball is never boring. I will be perfectly fine as soon as we get back.
Fantastic. And so the league looks a little different this year. You take two really good programs out with Bethel and Martin Methodist leaving the league, and it feels like we were already going to be in that conversation anyway, but now it really feels like the league is wide open. So how do you set the expectation for you guys coming into the year?
Well, we have such an opportunity this year. I mean, every year, but especially this year, like, two very strong programs have left. And I think that just lights a fire under us even more, that we want to be that number one spot. We want to go out. We want to start out with a bang, you know, and especially losing some games, we don't have that opportunity to, get that non-conference play in, work out the kinks before we start our conference season. So it just really, encourages us to get it together during preseason and really start out on fire and hopefully keep it that way and finish on fire. I think we have a great chance this year, and that makes me all the more excited to get back.
Last thing for you. So what would you tell kids that are, freshmen, sophomores, juniors in high school? They're looking at potentially playing college volleyball or hoping to have that opportunity. What piece of advice would you give them? I
would say do it. If you can, no matter where you go, no matter what school you go to, D1, D2, D3, NAI, it doesn't matter. It's like, it is an opportunity that you will never forget, and it's the opportunity of a lifetime. It's so much fun, and this is the only 4 years you'll be able to do it. So do it, and don't be afraid, don't be scared, don't be nervous, because everybody is. So you're not alone in that. So just go for it. What do you have to lose?
Courtney Barnes finds that
Fantastic.
spot.
That is Courtney Barnes. She is the lone senior on this Faulkner volleyball team. We're back on the other side in this edition of Talon Talk.
Did you know that 100% of Faulkner's computer science graduates
since 2014 have found jobs
in their fields within 6 months of graduating?
It's a great time to be a computer scientist. Everyone is walking around with a computer in their pocket in the form of a smartphone. And it takes software developers to make those things work.
I built church websites, and through the training and instruction that I received from Faulkner, I was able to go right into my career after graduation.
It laid a solid foundation for what you need to know.
I'm getting a lot of hands-on experience within my field, and also they're just giving me a wide variety of options of things that I might want to pursue in the future.
In the state of Alabama alone, there are over 4,000 tech-related jobs available. And the preparation that you receive at Faulkner University will allow you to go to work almost anywhere as a software developer. It's a great time to be a Faulkner Eagle, and it's a great time to be a computer scientist. I hope you'll come and join us.
It's going to just about do it for this edition of Talon Talk. Quick reminder for you as we went over last week. We've still got some camps coming up here in the athletic department at Faulkner. If you missed it this week, we apologize, but we've had a lot of kids running around having fun at the Faulkner basketball camp this week. We have a number of other opportunities coming. We'll show you right here. The BSN Collegiate Soccer ID Camp is this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Dalrata Soccer Complex. It is open to high school-aged players. More information, FaulknerEagles.com. You'll see the link in front of you. You can find that on our website. And then August the 22nd, the Women's Basketball Elite Camp, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here at Tyne Davis Gymnasium, open to players in the 21 through 24 classes. Look, questions keep coming. As of right now, we are committed to playing this fall, and we're hoping that that comes to fruition. The SSAC has announced its commitment to continue to pursue a season this fall. Keep following us on all of our social media channels and right here on Talon Talk for the latest. Hope that you have a great rest of the week, and God bless you.